Welcome on the show, and thank you everyone for tuning in again. We're here as we do. I've got Miss Greatness there from New South Wales, and I've got our friend Heidi Soliman from overseas. And I think she's
From
going
Bali.
I know Bali and all that. And we see ID when we see ID. When your friend moved, they move on. And you're just gonna try and catch up if you can. But seriously, I'm the only one left in Melbourne. Everybody's left me. I need to find something doing, really. Yeah. I'm happy to see everyone glowing. Heidi, tell us.
Hey,
You are
I'm in
going
Melbourne. I'm not in Bali now. I'm here for 3 weeks and then I'll go to Bali and then I'll come back for 3 weeks and then I'll go again. So it's just worked out that I have asked God to prepare the way that I do not stay in cold Melbourne for winter. So
you
I've
did.
prayed for this, I've asked God for it, and I am just, in grace and favor, just getting what I asked for.
She did. She actually prayed.
Yes.
And
That's beautiful.
I remember, and this is happening. Liz, last client was from England, by the way. I did got one client from England. I think the other one came from Abu Dhabi or something. So this lady is talking, foreign currency. Don't let no one go and ask ID for money, all right? This is just yeah, I'm really, really happy. Really, I'm praying for
Thank you.
every one of us to be satisfied,
Mm.
happy,
Thank
and
you,
God
Temi.
is granting. This is a fasting and prayer season in my church as well, so praying for everyone. Liz, you are glowing as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, well, nothing out of the ordinary, really. Just keeping going with life and seeing the clients that I have to see and doing the best that I can to support people, turning their lives around.
Amazing.
You're doing well. You are doing well. All turning people's lives around. I'm really happy about this. Actually, good job. But hey, Liz met a Goliath.
Oh,
she
oh,
she sent that to me, and I was like, "What?" But anyway, at least don't send me the photo, and I've got a friend that is bigger than that, so that's really not. We're gonna do a competition. Maybe ID's got one, but yeah, we're gonna see who's gonna is bigger. But it's really great to be here today to share again. Last week was a bit heavy. I'm not very good when it comes to child abuse or all that.
mm,
I'm not, because I believed all children are pure, they're very innocent, they're beautiful, and all that. And I still believe they are. So what I'm seeing from what we're looking at is that to be more vigilant to help them, because it's out of curiosity that these things happen, like Liz told us last week. But I've got a twist, a quiz or something that I want to speak. I want to ask the audience, and I want to ask the ladies to tell me the difference, or what do they think about this saying. We'll go on a quick break and we'll be back with my saying. Welcome back. So this week we're going to be talking about the age appropriate behavior, ages 5 to 9. Next week we're still on it, but this time we're going to the adult level, to 18 or so. We're going to round the whole um, topic up next week. Today is 5 to 9. But I've got somebody was asking me something, ladies, was saying, uh, which one is better? To love what you do or to do what you love? And that got my head twisted a little bit. To do what you love or to love what you do? Which one is better? I thought for a second, uh, to love what you do. I love what I do and I do what I love. But I thought sometimes, you might have just um, migrated here to any nation, and you are skilled in one area or the other. But then before you get into your real core of profession, you're just going to do something. You don't necessarily have to love it, but you still have to do it. But then I'm somebody that talks about stewardship a lot. Wherever I can lay my hands on, I do it with all diligence, with all my heart. Um, do I love it? Is it possible to love everything that you do, or to always do only what you love? I'm gonna ask Heidi.
Um, you need to first define the term love. What does love mean?
Mhm.
Because in my world, love just basically means accepting, unconditional accepting.
Right.
So I will unconditionally accept something, that means I love it. If I don't, that means I do not love it. So
Okay.
to me, is if I unconditionally accept everything I do, that means I love it. When I don't have any kind of prejudice or any kind of resistance or attachment to things, to me, that destroy any kind of love, attachment and resistance.
I remember we talked about this. Yes,
And
yes.
therefore, I believe that I will love anything in the world. That means I will accept anything. And therefore, I will learn how to love it.
Oh, you're cheeky. That is good. All right. So you will you will try to learn it. You might not love it initially, right? Is that what you might not love, but you learn it and you develop love for it and you do it. Okay. Because there are some people that they might say, I can never be a nurse or a doctor because I don't like blood. I'll never do it and I will never love it. So I will just do it for the time being, maybe for sustainability. And but I don't know if that is right or wrong. Heidi. I mean,
Um,
beg your pardon, Lisa. I was meant to say sorry.
yes, I was going to say it's Lee's turn.
Yes, for the time being, somebody can really do quite a number of things. And whether you love it or not, there is a responsibility that comes with everything that you lay your hands on.
Right.
And and that responsibility is not asking whether you loved what you did or, there was no attachment to whatsoever. If you have to account for it, you will have to do it. So, some things that we do requires us to show compassion, and you can't fake compassion.
Mm.
People can eventually see through that this is not genuine.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I think as long as there is an element of love, either way, you should be able to deliver what you deliver with the compassion that it requires and be able to take that accountability.
Mhm.
So
That's
for me, it does not matter whether you love what you do or you do what you love. I just appreciate the fact that there is love.
mhm. That is really really good. I think I'm talking to people that have got conscience, people that are grateful, because now that I'm taking students on placement, some of them I'm taking them into aged care, and they want to be acute and cardiac nurse or orthopedic nurse, and they don't want to do aged care. And I'm saying to them that, listen, half of the people in the hospital with the orthopedic, they fall in because they're older people and they have high risk of fall. So they fall in and they are the one that is coming to the hospital. Who do you think comes to the hospital the most? The elderly, the frail. So if you don't do good in aged care, you're not going to do good in the hospital. As a nurse, you are a carer. It doesn't matter whether the child, and as a student too, you are obliged, and there's a criteria that we have to mark you against. So you can't tell me you don't love nursing and you're here. Especially when you're a student. When you're a student, you do rotation, you do community, you do aged care, you do acute, we do mental health. You have to go through all these experiences. You love it, you dispense all your duty with all your heart within your scope, ethically, and then later on you can now decide which area I want to specialize on. But when you are a student, particularly, you have to love what you do. It's either you're a nurse here or you're not a nurse at all. So I love the way you said it both, that you have to dispense it with due diligence and you have to love it, learn to love it, because really that's what you've got right now. So yeah, that when the person said to me, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna share it to people of wisdom to really to share light to it. So I'm really grateful. Today, as we don't have a lot of time tonight, we're gonna be very brief because this gets a little bit to me when we talk about children. But I love the essence of the talk anyway that we're doing, because it's to shine light into our gray areas and naivety, because sometimes you don't know, and not knowing is very dangerous, very risky. It's not helpful. So it's really good to know, and I love to learn, as you might have known. So 5 to 9 years, there are some behaviors that are pardonable according to the CASA, the people organization that did these statistics. They say holding hands. I love it. Holding hands is all right. And ladies, you can prove me wrong if I'm wrong. Kissing is all right. If and what else did I see? Video recording self is okay, and pinching is all right. So pinching is all right. I don't know if you've seen that. What is acceptable and what is appropriate, because the pinching go a little further, which I cannot say right now. But I'm gonna get Liz to shine light into this. Kissing is all right. What do you mean kissing is all right? What sort of
Look, it's what we're talking about is child development.
yeah?
And within child development, there are tendencies. At a certain age, children tend to kiss each other. At a certain age, children tend to, take photos. At a certain age, children tend to become aware of their private parts, So what we are talking about is not necessarily to say that the behavior is acceptable,
All right,
but
that's what,
the tendency for a child of this age group to
mhm,
do this is acceptable. But
okay.
within the tendency, that's where now, as a carer, as a parent, as a guardian, you will have to start observing. The fact that you see your child kissing another child is not necessarily wrong. But if every time you see them, that's all they do,
Mhm.
then as a parent or as a guardian, you need to get close to this, get into this, and start to educate the kids, the children, as to what is acceptable when it comes to kissing. Wanting to understand perhaps why they do it, maybe they will say, I saw my mommy and daddy kissing, and your education can come from there. Say, so this is your friend. This is not your mommy. This is not your daddy. This is your friend, and friends don't kiss every day. And slowly you bring the awareness to the kids, you bring the education to the children so that they understand when it is appropriate to kiss, where it is appropriate to kiss, and who we have to kiss, who is appropriate to kiss. And that is how you bring the demarcations and the appropriateness of the behavior. touching, masturbation is mentioned here, self-touching and masturbation.
Age 5
That
to 9.
age 5 to 9,
I saw that
self-touching.
and I skipped it. I thought maybe
Yeah,
there was an error.
age 5 to 9, self-touching is, described here as being expected. You can expect from your child to be touching him or herself. But if you notice something that is beyond that, that you as a parent think it's normal, it's time to get closer to your child or to the kid that you are caring for, and to inquire, and by so doing, bring that awareness to the child. If you can't do it, there are places where you can go to go and get the help for the child, or to take the child to this place. Like where I work, we've got a program that we called um, personal safety program. And through that program, we are able to help the child to understand their bodies. And when you understand your body, you get to know what is private, and you
Mhm.
get to know how to take care of what is private, when to show, when not to show, whom to allow close by, whom to allow to touch. Stuff like that comes out in that training. So if people, for instance, don't know where to take their children, at a certain age, if they exhibit certain behaviors, it's good to go to organizations like that, where there are programs for, personal safety or protective behavioral programs, and that helps. But in saying that, kissing and holding hands, you can observe that in a certain age group, and particularly the group that we are talking about, that they start playing in, with their hands and holding and hugging, and those things, start to happen. And it is cited to be a normal progression into their growth. Um, Stories and questions, names and swearing, private parts and body functions, they get to become aware of those, and they, these days with certain body part, the names are also becoming people's names. Like we've got a lot of Virginias out there.
I
So,
like I like what you said when you said that there are places that people can go. I never thought, and a lot of times as parents, when you see it, you just, I don't know if I'm wrong, IG, you just deal with this yourself. You don't look for specialists because the child is not sick, so you don't go to doctor. You don't think it's something that you need external body to help you with. I believe, I didn't have this problem. I never had it, so I didn't know. But I'm just speaking. If you're even older people like we are all migrants, we come here, we don't know what is there. And I think that is it. That is why I love this our show a lot, because you can learn, you can see that there are a lot of things that you might have taken for granted. Actually, it might be something serious, and or it could turn to something serious in the future, and there's always services, to cater to these things, which I don't know. ID, you were here longer enough, you probably have seen few of these things before. And yeah, because I said that, like, even when the children were little, you know how they don't use each other's mug. You use the cup, oh, it's yucky, I'm not using it. You use the spoon, I'm not using it. So if, how come you're kissing somebody when you can't even use your brother and sister's cutlery at home? And you say it's got germs. They always say it's germs, it's got germs. This is what we used to hear growing up when the kids were growing up. So now that they're kissing people, how do you know the type of jams they've got? And you're kissing. So that I said that to say that definitely is building to be something. So that child probably know that kissing is okay, and kissing somebody else outside of your family, because you don't kiss your sibling. So if you're doing it outside, maybe they have a little bit of understanding that we need to nip in the yeah,
attend to.
very, very promptly. Heidi,
Yeah.
is this too much, Heidi? Do you?
No, actually, it's good that we're discussing this. I love that we're discussing this, and we're bringing shedding some light around the dark areas where we haven't explored it very well within the community and the society in Australia. One thing I love about Australia is that there is a place for everything, like Liz just shared.
Mm,
But we're gonna have to be very mindful. I'm going to say but and underline it, because we have to be very mindful and be able to discern where am I going with my child, or where am I going with my question, and what kind of answer I will actually get. Because I also believe that, growing up with my daughters growing up, I explained to them that their private sensitive areas are exactly to be treated like their eyes. No one is to touch their eye. No one is to touch their private areas.
mm,
Why will I not let anyone poke my child in the eye, but it's okay for someone to touch their breast or touch their vagina?
mhm.
No. They
Yeah.
need to understand that this is a private sensitive area, and there is a private area, and there is a sensitive area. So this is the genitals are described as private sensitive area.
Very.
No one is going to touch it. And
Mhm,
if I, as a mother, is going to apply some nappy rash cream, I take permission.
mhm,
I put my child on the table when she was, a little older, and I would tell her, listen, I'm going to apply some cream because you've got some nappy rash. She doesn't wear a nappy, but like,
the
like
rash.
when they, just a rash, but I'm going to wear gloves. I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to wear gloves, and I'm going to apply that cream with very carefully, because this is a private sensitive area. And I keep educating that in her, so she understands, and when she is cleaning herself, she understands that that's like cleaning her eyes, and I explain that to her. Now, why is it difficult for us to say that?
Yeah, we do. In fact, my child, when one of my children, Tony particularly, was in special school, they will draw for them a circle, nuclear family,
Yeah.
extended family, outside family. They will bring that home and say, Mom, Anthony will say to me, Mommy, if anyone touch me, I'll call the police. I'm blessed to be here listening to these people. You're bless you, Fatu. Good to have you. I'll call the police. Nobody must touch me. And I think I've said this on the show before. One day we were going to the park, and I had my daughter, she was little, and one of the guys from the school saw her and, touched that, hit her and say, on the shoulder and say, "Hi, Tony." She went back and give a whack. She said, "You don't touch me." This time she was like 7 years old. You you can speak. And she said, "Speak, don't touch. Don't touch my body." So what you're saying is very correct, ID.
Mm.
Do. And I know that also I'm very, very cautious. I can't recall if any of my children has ever did a sleepover before. Now, I've always said no sleepover, because even though I don't know what happens in anybody's homes, but I know that people have got different values that I might not
Mm.
be able to articulate, which I don't know. But I said, now let us keep it safe. We stay here. I don't want story. However, I do hear stories from some people that say, "Oh, my father abused me, my mother abused me," all these things when we just came. So I'm thinking, if your father can abuse their children, why will I let you go and do a sleepover in the house? So, I tried to teach them as much as I could, but I didn't know that a lot of things are even more rampant than I thought. But anyway, I am conscious of time. I want us to go on a quick break, and then I'll bring this other topic that they brought from this report. We'll be back. Welcome back on the show. We're still talking about our children. We spoke last week about the children, the toddlers, zero, is it toddlers 0 to 4? And then we're talking about
Yeah.
children 5 to 9 today, about what behavior is acceptable and what is not acceptable. I saw one thing about nudity uh, as part of the point that this organization talked about. They said, show me yours, I show you yours, mine, or something, and nudity. And did they say that is expected? I'm asking the specialist now,
The
please.
specialist.
Yeah,
Well, the curiosity is expected.
yeah.
And because of that, we also get some requests to be able to deliver some of the body safety programs in some schools because the kids are also starting to, pull off each other's pants. So when that happens, there is a need for, bringing that awareness in terms of what is private and what is appropriate, what time, when and where, all those who, what, when, where, how, and why. We have to bring the appropriateness and the concern when it is done, in an inappropriate manner. So yes, the curiosity is normal. I heard from somebody when, a 5-year-old would, for instance, ask, why are you sitting down to the mother when she's in the loo? So that curiosity becomes normal because if the boy goes to the loo, you're showing the boy to stand. In the beginning, it's not a problem. He gets the potty training. He knows he has to stand. But all of a sudden, he starts noticing, but mommy sits down. So what's the difference? And that those kind of questions come around 4 or 5. So that's curiosity. And that's where okay, now it's time for me to close my door when I go into the toilet. You are not supposed to be peeping anymore, and also any other time, basically with regards to why mommy is sitting down. Now you need to bring the difference for the child to get to know, you are a woman, he is a boy, and therefore this is the difference between you and I, and between me and daddy, and therefore this is how it happens when nature calls. It depends on, what's the culture and, the way you bring such sensitive topics as Heidi was explaining to us right now. But as a parent, that becomes the moment for a sensitive topic.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you will start seeing that, your child starts peeping into toilets wherever it goes, even at other people's houses.
Right.
And that is completely inappropriate. The fact that it happens at your house and it's normal does not make it normal at somebody else's house. So a conversation at home in terms of what we do here is what we do here. Don't go to other people's houses and, you know, take your clothes off because we are nude at home. You know, I think even if you have a nude culture, there's a time and place for it. It's only in our yard. When you get out of here, you are at school, keep on your clothes. You know, when you are at Sunday school, keep on your clothes. When you're with other children, keep on your clothes. That's we should not take our culture at home for granted that that's what everybody is supposed to do. It's not everybody must do. This is what we do at our house. But when you get out of here, be careful. It's not everybody else's culture.
Right. It's very interesting. I for what I'm actually hearing right now is that to be very, very careful what you do in the presence of 5 to 9 year old. As a mother, if your culture is not to be nudie, you don't want your child to be on the street nude, then don't start getting nude when the child is 5 to 9 years old. And if they're big enough to ask questions, then they're big enough to get the answers, they say. So if the
That's
child
right.
comes to you, sometimes they come, I mean, like where we come from, you come to me and say, Mom, you say nonsense as a kid, we give you across the face. You don't say nothing. In fact, you behave. Most of this behavior, I think it's really foreign from where I'm coming from. Most of them, especially when they're little. You don't do any of this because the cane, the big cane, your bottom will be red in a minute. This is the culture. So you don't misbehave. We look at it as misbehavior, really. I mean, even the system recognizes it as unacceptable, right? So it's not just us. Us too, we think is not acceptable. And the way we deal with it, where I come from, is what I'm explaining, that they give you across the face or your bottom. So next time you dare not do that anywhere you go. But I think because of time, we said we're going to be keeping it short. And next week we still got the 12 to 18 and
Yeah.
the whole lot. Next week we're going to round it up and we're going to talk more about some culture that might be foreign to you, and if your child is asking out of curiosity, you need to take time, like Heidi said, explain to them, take permission, let them know it's respectable. If they don't know it's respectable, they're not going to respect themselves, they're not going to respect other either. So this is a way to teach your child what is decent, what is respectable, and what you can disrespect. I'm going to stop there today, but Heidi, did you want to round up for us? Running out of time.
Oh, thank you. I believe that privacy and appropriateness comes in all shapes and forms, and it's very important for us to identify the meaning of the term and understand that different people have different kinds of norms, and therefore it's important for us as parents and as guides to be able to explain to our children what is normal and what is not in the context of their culture, in the
Right.
context of their beliefs, in the
Yeah.
context of their society, community, and what is not. And for them to be able to have the safety net, for them to come back and discuss with us and let us know what is happening, what
Yeah.
did they see that is different than what we practice here at home or practice at my grandmother's house, or this other auntie or something like that. They need to understand, they need to know that it's safe for them to explain and explore and to ask questions, and to never, 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 ever shame. Because I see a lot of parents shame their children for not for saying the wrong thing, or for saying something that is not appropriate. Where are they going to learn? Where are they going to learn? I remember that I think this is something to discuss next week. I will just stop here, and I'll say it's so important. Transparency, honesty, respect are very important in a topic like that. And I believe that it's very awesome of us to be able to sit here and talk about it that way. It is important for other parents to also engage in this conversation, and I welcome all parents to come and engage, because it's important.
Yeah.
Bring your voice here, bring your question, and we'll discuss it. We'll talk about it. It's important. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I feel a little lighter this week. So we see, last week was a bit heavy for me. We see what next week says. Until then, we're going to say bye for now. See you next week.
See you.
Bye,
Thank you.
y'all.
Bye.